What's going on, Crimson Tide fans? Chris Daughtry here with the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. The spring transfer portal window is officially open, so I want to hear from you guys here in the comment section. How many players will Alabama land here in the spring transfer portal window? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section right now. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk some transfer portal buzz out there. There really isn't a ton going on right now in terms of, the players that Alabama are reaching out to. There is one player we're going to talk about, and then there's another player that I just threw on the list here as well. Also, going to talk about a quarterback prediction here from Steve Wiltfong of On3. I'm not so sure Alabama's looking so solid right now in terms of getting a quarterback in that 2026 class. Sure, there is a ton of time left before signing day actually rolls around, but as of right now, it's starting off really, really slow in terms of going after a quarterback in that 2026 class. We'll start off with the transfer portal here. It did officially open today, and remember, this is a shorter transfer portal window, only a 10-day window from the 16th through the 25th, and only graduates can transfer within the SEC. So if you want to get a guy who is not going to be a graduate transfer, you're going to have to go out of conference for that. In Alabama right now, there's some different numbers out there. They only have either 4 or 5 scholarships open right now, so they're going to be very, very selective in terms of who they're actually going to go after in the transfer portal. Kalen DeBoer said one of the most, important things for Alabama in the transfer portal is going after, players that really, fit the standard here at Alabama and really can come in and be, culture guys for Alabama. Now, like we'll talk about here in just a second, there are some guys out there who have, quote, Alabama's been interested in. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go out and pursue some of those players. There are multiple guys that they brought in for visits during that winter's transfer portal window that they brought them in for visits, but those guys actually left without even a scholarship offer. So they're going to, possibly bring guys in, but that does not necessarily mean that they're actually going to offer those guys. And even if they contact them, that doesn't even mean they're going to actually bring them in for a visit. So Alabama is not likely to actually go after somebody to even be a starter. And, that can be a big thing in terms of the transfer portal, NIL, what some of these guys really want. Coming here from a new school, and, do they want playing time? Because there really are not a ton of, spots on this Alabama roster right now where you can see somebody going in and starting. Sure, there might be a couple, but, overall, don't really think Alabama is going to be landing any, big-time names or starters here in the transfer portal window. So some possible transfer portal needs that, we ran through a couple of days ago here, but I did change one just because there's kind of been some new stuff come out on it. Tight end, that's definitely number one there for Alabama. You obviously had a lot of injuries during this spring practice window here. Defensive line, I think you could definitely benefit from adding at least one body there. Offensive tackle, that's going to be the position we're really going to talk about today. And then I wasn't even thinking running back until Ryan Grubb said the other day that, last year's squad probably would have said that 6 probably wasn't enough because Alabama definitely had a lot of guys banged up in that running back room last season. So those are some positions that Alabama could possibly go after here in this transfer portal window. So let me know here in the comment section, will Alabama lose any players in the transfer portal? Type Y for yes or N for no at the pinned comment of today's video. If you think that is a yes, if you think there is going to be at least, a couple of players hit the transfer portal for Alabama, let me know who you think that is going to be. It's the pinned comment of today's video, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Get down there and let me know what you guys think. All right, the first player that has really been popping on social media right now in terms of, interest here from Alabama is offensive tackle Joe Cotton out of South Dakota. He was an all-conference selection here in 2024, and I do think it's pretty notable that he is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Obviously, we know that connection there with Kalen DeBoer. 247 Sports put this graphic out earlier. He's already been contacted by a lot of schools out there. Now, Chris Hummer of 247 Sports said he already has visits set up with both Cincinnati and Wisconsin. And I do think it's notable as well. He did enter the transfer portal here with a no contact tag. So doesn't necessarily mean, he knows where he is going to go, but for sure there's only going to be a couple schools on that list for him. And like I said earlier, just because Alabama is on this list of, portal interest does not necessarily mean they're going to go out there and pursue this kid. Doesn't mean they're not going to, but take a little bit with a grain of salt, there. But Alabama definitely needs to probably add at least one more offensive tackle to their roster right now. You got Caden Proctor there at that left tackle spot. Definitely think he's going to be your starter next season, barring anything crazy happening there. Wilkin Formby as well. But after that, you got Arkell Angwum there as well that you got out of the winter transfer portal window. There's been a little bit of buzz about him too, looking really nice in spring practice. Ola Salinen also got a lot of tackle experience and development over this spring camp here. But, after that, you got freshman Jackson Lloyd, Michael Carroll even. I think he's probably more of a guard. Still a lot of time to go before you really figure out his long-term spot there. But he also got some tackle reps there for Alabama this spring. So really light right now in this room. If, somebody goes down, if Caden Proctor goes down during the season next year, don't necessarily know where Alabama's going to go there. So you definitely probably want to add at least one more offensive tackle to this offensive line room. We'll continue with another player and some recruiting buzz here in just a second, but today's show is presented by Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff tickets. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to tip-off. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest prices guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Take advantage of the last-minute deals. You guys can save up to 60% off last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. I actually bought tickets last night for a comedy show coming up here in just a couple of weeks. But you can also get Alabama football tickets already on sale on Game Time. Go ahead and take advantage of that and get those tickets early. Also, you got a lot of other events. You guys can go to a Braves game. It's really not that far of a drive from Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, wherever you are if you're in the state of Alabama. I know Alabama's got a lot of fans all across the country, so you guys can get tickets to whatever you want here on Game Time. You can also use that Game Time Picks feature. It just makes getting ticket buying even easier just by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They also have that all-in pricing feature. You toggle this feature on, and it shows you the total up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS, that's Chat Sports, for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms do apply, but again, just create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. One more time for you guys, download that Game Time app. Use promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. They have last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, all guaranteed. All right, the next player in the transfer portal that I want to talk about here is Blake Steen, and you might remember that name because he is the younger brother of former Alabama offensive tackle who we got out of the transfer portal from Vanderbilt, Tyler Steen. Now, Blake Steen, he has started for the past couple of seasons here with Virginia. I should have mentioned that. He's offensive tackle out of Virginia here. Started 17 games there, and he was okay in that time there. Played 736 snaps this past season, and really wasn't that bad, for them. And frankly, he was pretty good. I think the only real negative thing that really sticks off the screen for me is the 8 penalties from him. You don't really want a penalty boy if you're going to go after somebody who could possibly start for you. But like I said earlier, Alabama's probably not going to go after anybody that is necessarily going to be, a starter for them out of the transfer portal. Now, the one thing I do like really about Blake Steen here is the versatility. Alabama really does like going after guys. Remember Geno Vandermark? Obviously, there was that connection there with Alabama's offensive line coach, Chris Kapilovic, but the versatility really is a big thing for this Crimson Tide coaching staff. He's played right guard a little bit, played a lot of right tackle. He played a little bit of left tackle as well. Really only played one game at that right guard spot there this past season. But, if you want a guy who is, have that versatility to him, and there is a little bit of a connection there with Tyler Steen, as well, him being his younger brother. Obviously, it's a little bit of a different coaching staff now, but he is definitely another name out there that you might want to consider in the transfer portal. Make sure you guys hit that sub button for me right now. It's only a 10-day transfer portal window, so we are going to keep you guys covered on all things Alabama football related. Make sure you guys hit that sub button. It's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. All right, last thing before we get out of here, Steve Wiltfong of On3 has put in an official prediction for Derek Zammit to go to Washington. Now, if you guys remember last week, Derek Zammit, we talked about him a little bit. He was on campus for a day this past weekend. Alabama, Mississippi State, Washington are really those final three right now, according to Steve Wiltfong. I think Syracuse was also in that, but it seems like Syracuse is out of the running right now. So, going into that visit, it was reported also that he's going to have this final visit with Alabama, and we will probably know something, soon after that. So, this official prediction here from Steve Wiltfong coming kind of right after his visit with Alabama. Probably not a very good spot for Alabama now in this 2026 class in terms of getting a quarterback. So it makes me wonder where this next quarterback for Alabama is going to come from after you recruited Keelan Russell. Could be from the high school ranks. There could definitely be somebody else out there. They might end up, flipping somebody at the end of the day. Or Alabama could wait until that December transfer portal window and possibly get a younger quarterback out of that December transfer portal window. So let me know what you guys think. Where does that next quarterback come from for Alabama? Type H if you think he comes out of the high school ranks, or type P if you think he'll come out of the transfer portal, most likely during that December transfer portal window.